you keeping well because we are keeping well right here. Western Spring Television's flagship. It is the bookshelf, the broadcast where we get to bring you anything, everything, anyone, everyone that has a relationship with books right here. I'm honored to be your teaching and learning advocate. My name is Dami Lola Raphael. I'm excited to be doing this yet again. We have covered, as God helps us, a lot of ground, but there are still much more to cover. But this one thing we do, we live in the moment. You know, a lot of us at different points, we get lost in the moment where we're thinking of yesterday, holding on to the past, or grappling, grasping, gasping, trying to catch the future, and we ignore today, forgetting that today was once upon a time tomorrow, and today will sooner as and later become yesterday. So why do we not just focus on living in the moment? Now, talking about living in the moment, we have covered, this is the third season of the bookshelf, and we have covered, or we are covering now, the third theme for the season. We first have write a book, and then we moved on to learning a new language. Presently, the charge for us for this present season of the bookshelf is for us to complete a book, complete reading a book, complete writing a book. And if you have read a book, then that chain doesn't end with you. You are actually to pass that information, the knowledge, to the next person. Now, one of the things that we promised that we'll be doing on the bookshelf is going out and about. We did a couple of times. We are bringing it back on right about now. We're living in the moment, okay? So we're bringing it back on going out and about. The Mass Communication Department of the Fountain University, Osogbo, recently organized and executed, of course, a book chat with Mr. Ismail Omipidan, the author of Persona Non Grata. Now, if you have been following the different broadcasts of the bookshelf, we have, there was a time we took on the editor speak where there was a book reviewer, and I took just some paragraphs from that his speech during the book launch sometime earlier in the year. So today we're going to be revisiting that trip that we had to Fountain University mass communication department right there, having that bookshelf. Let us start out with Dr. Debi. He's a senior lecturer of the mass communication department, and he let us in on the purpose for hosting that particular book chat, and of course the principles, the policies, and of course the priorities in education, looking as well at the roles of a teacher. Let's watch.
We decided on book reading because we noticed that the reading culture is dying. And one of the ways by which you can raise it is when we have events of this nature, where we have a writer live in the hall, reviewing the book, talking about the behind the scenes of the book and the inspirations behind. So the essence is, one, to improve tan and gown collaboration, and two, for the students of mass communication department to learn from a practicing journalist who has had years practicing, so that they can pick one, two, or three things from his experience. And also, it is intended to make them learn from the history of the writer. So that is why we have put this program in place, so that the students can read, the students can interact with the authors, and could pick one or two, three things from his experience. I've always said that Nigerian educational system does not have problem with the curriculum. What we have problems with are those who are implementing it. How are we implementing it? How are we doing it in such a way that the students will go away with a lot of skills? Not only that, they will learn the skills, they will also practice and even become half of what they want to become after graduating while on campus. So for me, my appeal goes to all education providers. Let us go back to our curriculum. and then implement the curriculum in a manner that will empower the students when they graduate from the program. It's a personal commitment as a teacher. I believe that I want to see my students doing well in the industry, and the best way to see them doing the industry is to equip them with the skills while on campus and encourage them to practice. I know quite a lot of people that didn't even do communication, but because they've been reporting for different platforms while on campus, it was easy for them to transition from university to the work, to the industry. So it's a personal commitment that anyone that will pass through me would be exposed. At least I'm going to do my own part of the end of the learning, because in any learning situations, you have the learner and you have the teachers. So when the teachers are doing their own part, the student too should also do their own part. So that
if it were to be sports, would have called him the man of the match. Mr. Ismail Omipidan also spoke with us on the sidelines with regards the central theme of the book Persona non grata, and he touched on the reading culture.
The central theme of the book is persona non grata, even though I was truly declared one by a governor. But then if you read the book, you see that throughout the book, in my place of work, even as a spokesperson to a governor, even while looking for admission, I was always being rejected. But the good story is that at the end of the day, in all the places I was rejected, I became welcome at the end of the day through my perseverance and resilience. And so the story I want them to learn, especially from the book, is that the fact that you fail once does not make you a failure. You must always make attempt to rise anytime you fail. And in the end, success will be yours. The reading culture is declining, but events like this is helping to reawake that consciousness about the fact that we must continue to read. Because look, if you want to learn about initiatives, if you want to learn about new initiatives, they can't just happen overnight. You encounter them through rigorous reading. That is when ideas will also come to you. For instance, the idea behind writing this book also happened in the course of my reading other people's account. When I read other people's account and with my own experience, I just realized, oh, that means I also have a story to tell. So I want to advise them, especially those of them who are in mass comm and those of them who are aspiring to be a practicing journalist, that they must not allow the culture of reading to die in them. They must do everything within their means to ensure that they revive that culture. If we don't read, there's no how we can build the society. If we don't read, there's no how we can contribute meaningfully to the growth and development of the society.
He said something right there, a story to tell. Remember when we were reviewing that book titled A Story to Tell, a biography by Adetoye Smollett Ashitu Alamu. Well, moving on, you know, I was going to say governors are really giving books titles in recent times because we brought on Sunday Oyewole Olayode, and the veteran talked about his book, which we reviewed, and it was titled, do you remember? Probe for Dismissal. That persona non grata was also by another governor in another part of the country. But let's dig into the chat at this time, and let's listen to the author, Mr. Ismail Omipidan, talk to us about breaking the jinx even as an intern and not blowing your own trumpet.
Before then, I was given a press release to write from. The head of the desk said, can you write a news story? He was practically harassing me. I told him, I can try. Sometimes, even when you know it, don't show them that you know it. Let them see it from your work. said, "Are you sure you can write a new story?" I said, "I can try, sir." So he said, "Yeah, go and write it." He gave me the press release. I wrote my story. When he finished, he said, "I will pass it to the news editor straight." I said, "Okay, sir." So that story and the one I monitored on VOA and BBC, I just wrote my own story. I submitted. I went home. Only for me to come to the office the next day, I saw one of the stories on the front page of the Punch. I was very excited, very, very excited. And I was like, so this is how to get published. And I didn't spend up to, I'm not sure I spent up to a month on that desk. The same news editor now said, that was how I became one of the very first interns that was attached to a correspondent that had 2 beats. But then, if you want to be a good writer, you must not join the bad wagon of those who say, "Kilafe can no paper." Because if you read regularly, you get used to different styles of introducing stories. And from there, you sharpen your own skills.
The reading culture again, right? Good. Let us move on to some other aspects of the book part. Mr. Ismail Omipidan touched on other secondary themes of the book, and he talked about loyalty, he talked about money, he talked about relationships. Let's just go ahead and watch.
Back then in school, what we were doing was about 5 or 6 of us would contribute money. One group would buy maybe Punch this day. Another group would buy maybe Guardian, Daily Trust, like that. So we read and exchange. We read and exchange. So you have to be consistent. The only way you can keep relationship is if you are truthful and honest. Big men, they watch you. Sometimes they deliberately test you. I was in an office someday. The person came to see the man I went to see. And I knew that the man is the big man's friend. And as at the last time.
All right. Thank you very sincerely, dear viewer. Keeping faith with us right here, Western Spring Television, the bookshelf. We'll be going on this very quick breather. When we come back on the other side of it, we'll be bringing you more details into that safari we had out and about on the bookshelf. Stay with us.
Is winning fans globally, but we are losing our wildlife to illegal bushmeat, and this is not funny at all. If we continue this way, we'll risk losing all our animals and leaving nothing behind for the generations to come. Tell your family and friends not to buy or sell illegal bushmeat, because protecting nature protects us all.
Thank you very sincerely. Keeping faith with us right here. Welcome back from that very quick break. We'll continue. We're still going out and about. We're bringing you the juicy details from that book chart right there, organized by the Mass Communication Department of Fountain University, Osogbo, with the author of Persona Non Grata, the book right there, Mr. Ismail Omipidan. Now, some of the things that we get to do on the bookshelf came out from that chart. we've taken on different themes. We said earlier at the beginning of the broadcast today that this is the third season of the bookshelf. We started out with write a book, learn a new language, and presently we are running the course on completing a book. Well, let's go to the second season of the bookshelf, learn a new language, the importance of actually learning, speaking, understanding another language.
We had an interview with a certain governor from the north. Editors were flew in from Lagos. I joined them from Kaduna. All of us are Yorubas. Was there any Igbo guy? There was 2 Igbo guys, but they also speak Yoruba fluently because they live in Lagos. So after the interview session, the governor spoke outside to me to say that when these Yorubas leave, I should stay behind. So the next day we were having breakfast. So one of my editors, Mr. Ashola Oshunke, he now said, hey, take Bonner. Yesterday, after the interview session, the governor spoke language to you, you responded, all of us left, and you stayed back. Kilo Shele, what happened? Moloni tell you, Baba, ti jade tan kemi duro, so who is you, Baba? So that is a level of the acceptability when you can speak the language.
All right, talking about adoption and acceptability right there. It opens doors for you, really. So coming on with some of these themes, the charges for each season, it's not just another way of, okay, so let's mark time. It's actually something to cultivate and build over time. Now, these charges should not die with the seasons. They should continue. They should, proceed and live with us. Now, it wasn't all grills and drills. We had some frills and thrills talking about the different entertainment, what do you call it, break and all that. I mean, how can we play? We have our own way of playing, right? Talking about bookworms and all that. It was interesting. We had Giwa and Baoku, Asia Giwa and Baoku do the poetry and spoken word.
And I'm studying agricultural extension. So my poem is centered on Nigeria, the current situation of Nigeria. So enjoy. Nigeria go better, yet each and every day Nigeria. Who no one make it better? Yet we keep running helter-skelter, fleeing from hunger in search of shelter. They suffer where our forefathers no suffer, and I with the water with bad governance. And if you dare utter our plight, it will only become hotter and tight. What doesn't kill you make you stronger? More this one we call so. I've found many a soul to living dead. Suicide, killings, here and there. Everywhere is red. I can't even peacefully lie in my bed because in my head I can't say who is next. Feels like it has been deeply rooted in each grain of the soil, such that each plant that goes from within exhales the oxygen of pain, hunger, sorrow, and depression. Like it has been dyed with each color of the flag, such that as breeze blows it, economic crisis waves are at us. No, not telling us farewell, but telling us to bear it well. A country like a center for game or an abode is just a name. All our resources have been so lame over the case developing remains the same. The question is, who is to blame? Our cunning leaders no one can tame. For the celebration, what is our aim? After all, survival is left a game. The primary, secondary, and tertiary structures with no good structure and proper infrastructures will only puncture the little we nurture. What do I say in essence? For a long time, we have been on suspense. Where exactly lies the conscience of those who make education only in sentence? They only broadcast it with no defense. Costly and less quality education in pain. The question is, what is our gain? It's either affordable or quality education. Education itself was the true definition. We are in a state of confusion where delusion becomes our satisfaction and conclusion. We show no action only to make mention. Our ability to read and write is not put into consideration. Besides, that's mere literacy. Do not target with speech fluency, totally different from the true and best legacy. Education is the most delicious delicacy, but our money has taught hard currency. I fear for my life is this was called security. Being safe is conditioned with our inferiority. Our well-being is not at all their priority. Lives of majority become sacrifices for the minority. How often Have you said safe journey to a million who had been kidnapped on the way to their destination? Meant to be a game in South-turned once upon a time. The forest, Sambisa. What must have happened, I wonder? I had lack of management that I ponder. In a state where we must have had a leader, a hungry man is an angry man, they say. Do not tamper with my temper, come with me. For when the stomach goes, astray the mind goes, and patience will still like a fading ray. Good food, clothing, shelter, promises made by our leaders, but now, 3 square meals now seem better than silver if not equal to gold. We bear the consequences of their actions in tenfold. We feel sorry, but sorry we feel not. All we do is sympathy. We need more of empathy. These days, meant to be a graduate is granted by soil microorganisms. Agronomy studied agronomy for soil management, and our body calls for soil arrangement. I wonder what my country feels like without our youth. Same as I wonder what a farmer feels like without our tools. We share death news like snap streaks. Youth are lazy is what they say. To bad governance, did they say nay? To sound education, did they pave way? Only do we get employed for low wage pay. However, I pledge to Nigeria, my country, so help me God. Thank you.
Another one, this is not just a quick love. So we met on IG. All she wanted to be was Yawa Alaji. As an OG, who wanted to give her the logic that if she gave away, we did create some magic. As if love could vanish and disappear, she asked if I did make her happier. She's seen too many hearts break fast, the kind they serve you breakfast. You don't even love in days or week. It is not applause or your trending pics. It is made of will, faith, and holding on when the hearts faint. I am not a rush, not an instant fame. I won't play sweet like potato claim. If we must grow all there, we must pay this price and excite each other like a winning prize. We will do the work they did in Rome and make it a must to build our home. Through the highs and lows, we will learn and grow. And if patience speaks and times agrees, I'm not a breaking news or here to trend. You are who I will choose until the very end. I am here to stay and not to hide your hope. And our love will bloom like steady trees.
Did you see Balko's blush? Was he blushing at his own poem or at the audience response? And of course, talking sciences, Asiya Giwa is doing, she is still a student, doing agricultural extension, but she is involved in the arts as well. Did you enjoy that spoken word? Now, we had a chat with Mr. Ismail Omipidan. Very quickly, let's bring this on.
I was able to achieve it without sounding immodest. From the day of the unveiling, we immediately broke even. And so certainly I'll be encouraged to write more because it wasn't a loss. It was very, very profitable. You know, so I believe that any young mind listening to me will know that that you are a writer does not make you a poor person by any standard, especially when your writings is of a quality. You know, with due respect, some people write rubbish. You know, so as long as you put your heart into what you are writing, I bet you make a living out of it. So what I have decided to do, I have even registered a business venture dedicated to writing. Because you can write for people, you know, ghost writing, and in between I do my PR and consultancy to make ends meet.
Lots of the reviewers at that launch talked about getting a backlash. Have there been backlash?
Of course, there have been series of backlash. Unfortunately, none have been able to confront the facts, the hard facts that are put out there. Beyond you know, abuses, you know, and you know, when people start abusing you, you know they have nothing to say. Beyond that, there has not been any real I won't call it confrontation, but any concrete conversation on some of the facts that are put out in the book.
Wow. That was a safari. We needed to just bring you a summary, try to put it all in a capsule right here on the bookshelf. Now, how will you watch that whole thing and not give us a round of applause? Please give us our flowers.
So a round of applause for him once again, please.
A sounding round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is where we get to call it a wrap on the bookshelf for today. We gave out what the previous edition, that this edition is going to be bigger and better. So help us God, the next one is going to be bigger and better. Remember to complete a book. Whatever it is you're doing with a book at this time, do well to see it through till the end. My name is Damilola Raphael, your teaching and learning advocate. I'm saying until that time, it is goodbye. God bless.